Guys, I want to tell you my story, but before I start, please support me with a like and subscribe to the channel so you never miss any new stories. My name is Rehab. I'm 35 years old and I got divorced about a year ago. After the divorce, I moved back to my parents' house. Since I was young, I had always been the spoiled daughter of the family. Nobody ever refused me anything, and because of that, my brothers got married and settled down while I stayed focused only on myself. The biggest problem in my marriage was that my ex-husband and his mother blamed me for not being able to have children. They always made me feel guilty, even though it was not my fault at all. They would say things like, "You can't give us children, so why should our son stay with you?" Every time I tried defending myself, they made me feel smaller and weaker. One day, I finally felt my dignity breaking apart. I decided to leave and get divorced. I went back to my parents' home feeling completely defeated. At first, everyone treated me softly because they knew I had suffered. I started going out whenever I wanted, returning home late, and nobody questioned me anymore. Life slowly became comfortable again. Until one day, my mother suddenly told me, "Get ready, we're traveling to the village for your cousin's wedding." I was surprised and asked why we had to stay there so long. She explained that all the relatives would gather there from different cities and we might stay almost 2 weeks. I agreed. When we arrived, the house was extremely crowded. There were relatives everywhere, laughter everywhere, noise everywhere. At night, there was barely enough space for people to sleep. That's when my mother suggested something unexpected. She told me, "Your cousin Amr has his own room with 2 beds. His older brothers are married and moved out. You can sleep there tonight." At first, I laughed. To me, Amr was still the little teenage boy I remembered years ago. The last time I saw him, he was around 14 years old. My mother laughed and said, "That was many years ago. He's grown up now." But honestly, I didn't think much about it. I went to his room thinking it would simply be more comfortable than sleeping in the crowded hall. When I entered, Amr smiled and welcomed me casually, but then something shocked me. He wasn't the little boy I remembered anymore. He had grown into a handsome young man, tall, confident, calm, with a mature voice and attractive personality. For a moment, I froze. I jokingly told him, "You really changed." He laughed and replied, "Nothing stays the same forever." We spent hours talking and laughing together. For the first time in a very long time, I felt comfortable around someone. That night, I realized how lonely I had become after my divorce. Not just emotionally lonely, but mentally too. I missed having someone who truly listened to me. Amr listened carefully to every word I said. He didn't judge me, he didn't make me feel broken, and that was something I hadn't felt in years. The next few days, we became closer and closer. At the wedding celebrations, we danced together, laughed together, stayed awake talking late into the night. Every conversation between us felt deeper than the one before. I started feeling alive again. One night, while everyone else was asleep, we stayed awake talking for hours. We talked about dreams, fears, relationships, and pain. That was the moment I realized this connection was becoming dangerous. Not dangerous because it was wrong, but because my feelings were becoming real, very real. I tried convincing myself that the age difference would never work. I was divorced, I was older than him, and I couldn't have children. But every time I pulled away emotionally, he somehow pulled me back with his kindness. One evening, I finally gathered the courage to tell him the truth about my infertility. I expected him to become uncomfortable or distant, but instead he calmly said, That's not your fault. A person should be loved for who they are, not for what they can give. His words hit my heart deeply. Nobody had ever defended me like that before. For the first time since my divorce, I felt hope again. After the wedding ended, we returned home, but our conversations never stopped. We started talking every day on the phone. Hours and hours passed without us noticing. Sometimes we laughed, sometimes we talked seriously about the future. But every time I asked him, "Will you talk to your family about us?" he became quiet. Finally, one day he admitted, "I'm afraid they'll reject the idea because you are older than me and because you can't have children." That sentence terrified me. I became scared of losing him after finally finding someone who understood me completely. But despite everything, I still believe what we had was real, because true connection is rare, very rare. Sometimes you meet someone unexpectedly and they heal parts of you nobody else ever understood. Maybe people will judge our relationship. Maybe they will say the age gap is too big. Maybe they will never accept it. But feelings don't always follow society's rules. And honestly, I don't know what will happen next. Will he fight for me? Will his family ever accept me? Or will this relationship become another painful memory in my life? I truly don't know. But one thing is certain. For the first time after my divorce, I felt loved again. And maybe that feeling alone was enough to change my life forever. If you were in my place, what would you do? Tell me honestly in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more emotional stories.